right, everybody. Welcome to the class. Welcome to the Smrt stream live class. It's Wednesday afternoon here in Vancouver. I'm Shaun. I'll be your teacher for the next hour or so. If you're new to the class, welcome. Good to see you. I see some familiar names in the chat as usual. Good to see. And of course, you probably see a familiar name or two in the chat as well. We've got our friendly moderator Lane here to help you with all of your needs. If you have a question during the class, if you're not sure what I have said, if you need me to repeat myself, or you have a question about anything, put it in the chat, and Lane will get those questions to me, and I'll try to answer as many as I can, as often as I can. Okay, I see Karim is in there too. Good to see you. Okay, and Karim can probably help out. He's often my slang translator. All right, so yeah, if you guys have questions or comments, put them in the chat, and we'll get to them. Okay, so I hope you're doing well, wherever you are, whenever you are, and let's get rolling here. All right, yeah. See, hi everybody. See lots of greetings coming in. It's nice. All right, so let's jump into it here. Let me go into this. All right, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about, well, we're going to start talking about this lady here. Okay, so I assume you know what her name is. You know what the name of this painting is, and you may even know the name of the painter. You may know who painted this very famous painting. But we're going to start today. I'm going to ask you some questions that may seem a little crazy, maybe. Okay, I'm not interested in asking you who this is, or who painted this, or maybe even how old this painting is. I want you guys in the chat to give me some ideas right away. I'm going to get you guys working right away. Okay, here we've got a lady who's very famous for that smile, that little slight smile, and I want you guys to tell me, why is she smiling? Okay, I want you to tell me why you think she's smiling. What do you think she's thinking about? I would like you to guess what you think she finds so amusing. All right, get me some ideas in the chat. All right, and in fact, I mean, you guys know who this is. Maybe a little bit lesser known. Well, he's probably equally as famous, I think, is this guy. All right, if you can tell me who this is, or if you can tell me the name of this painting, that would be great. I'd be impressed. If you could tell me who painted it, I would be even more impressed. But again, I'm not really looking for that today. I want you guys to tell me what you think this guy is looking at. What is this guy screaming about? Okay, I want to know what his problem is. All right, what is his problem is the question. All right, so I'm seeing some stuff coming in from about the Mona Lisa. Somebody says maybe she's ashamed. Okay, maybe it's like a coy. It's a bashful smile. Maybe. Okay. What about the scream? What's he so upset about? Some people say ghost. Yeah. Okay. Okay. How about this? How about this? Let me ask you another totally unrelated question. We're not talking about art today. Okay. We're not talking about why he is screaming necessarily, but yeah, he's scared, obviously. Yeah. And some people see, know who it is. Munch is the painter, and the name of the painting is The Scream. So some of you guys know what it's called, and you know who did it. That's good. How about this? I'm going to throw something out, totally out of left field here for you. Okay. Take a look at that. Take a look at this. This guy. All right. I want you guys to guess what this device is for. I want you to tell me what this guy is doing, and what is this machine for. And of course, all of my questions, they have a purpose to them. I'm asking you very specific questions for a very specific reason. Okay? So this machine, what do you think it's for? Okay, Ahmed says it's for hearing something. That's probably right. Okay. Any other ideas? What do you think? I want you to guess what this machine is for. All right. Obviously not a new machine. Satellite dish. Some people are saying, yeah. CF Teaching says a satellite dish. Azim says to magnify sounds. These are good guesses, okay? So actually what this machine is for was before they had radar, this guy would have to go out into a field with this machine and he would listen to see if he could hear airplanes coming, approaching airplanes, all right? Now, again, we're not talking about approaching airplanes. We're not talking about art today, all right? The reason we're talking about this, the reason we're asking these questions is what we're talking about today is noun clauses. And the reason I asked all of those questions is that I asked you a bunch of questions with noun clauses in them, okay? So the question is, well, what is a noun clause and how do we use them? Now, some of you, you may not know exactly what it is, but you probably already do use them. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about noun clauses, all right, and what they're for. So let's start by talking about a couple lessons ago, we talked about adjective clauses, all right? So an adjective clause that we learned 2 weeks ago is, as we said, a group of words together with a subject and a verb that is used to describe or modify another part of the sentence, particularly a noun. Okay, so it's a group of words that describes a noun. So this was the example we saw a couple weeks ago, right? Is the girl who is wearing red lives on my street. So in this case, who is wearing red is an adjective clause, and that clause is describing the word girl. Okay, so we're not talking about adjective clauses today. All right, we're talking about noun clauses. So a noun clause, they do not describe nouns. Okay, that's not what the purpose of a noun clause is. A noun clause is a noun. So noun clauses are nouns. So maybe you're like, what? What are you talking about? All right, so don't give me that look yet. Okay, I'm getting to it. So a noun clause, what is it? Is the question. Okay, what's a noun clause? Let's define it. Well, before we define it, you're going to come out and say something like this: Shaun, I don't understand what a noun clause is. I don't know what a noun clause is. Can you tell me what a noun clause is? All right. Now, one thing you should understand, one thing you need to understand first is this section of that sentence, what a noun clause is a noun clause. And again, you're going to give me one of these looks, right? What are you talking about? Okay, and some people in here are asking this question: what are you talking about? I'm talking about noun clauses. Okay, so a noun is a person, place, or thing, right? We all know that. Okay, a clause is a group of words with a subject and a main verb. Okay, so put those two things together and we say that a noun clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb that functions as a noun. All right, so in other words, it's a group of words in a sentence that function together, and sometimes they function as the subject of a sentence, sometimes they function as the object, or maybe a complement in a sentence, okay? And again, we'll talk in detail about all three of those things, what I mean by the subject and the object and the complement, okay? So this is the topic for today. Let's dive into this and look at how we use noun clauses, okay? So let's look at a really simple example of a noun clause. I know her name. That's a real simple sentence, okay? I is the subject, know is your verb, and in this case, her name is the object of the verb know, all right? So we can also take that object out of the sentence and we can replace it with this. I know what her name is. Okay, so in this case, what her name is, those words together, that is a noun clause because that's a group of words with a subject and a verb, and in this sentence, it's functioning as the object of the verb. Okay, now that's that's one little example. We're going to be looking at lots of them today. Okay, so I'm going to talk for a little bit. I'm going to give you a little bit of information. Then I'm going to get you guys doing some practice. Okay, and then I'm going to come back and teach you some more. So we're going to be back and forth here today. Okay, so why is this? I don't know. I don't know why the Mona Lisa is back on the screen, but that's a noun clause. Okay, so we often use noun clauses to ask questions, all right, to answer questions, or to emphasize something in a sentence, like or make a point in an argument. And I'm going to be talking about that today too, about helping you make strong points in arguments. Okay, so to ask a question, answer questions, and emphasize. This is a really common use of the noun clause. So there are different types of noun clauses, guys, but today what we're going to focus on first is noun clauses with question words. So most of you, I'm sure you know, is that what we mean by question words are basically these 6 words, right? The who, what, where, when, why, and how. So we're going to start by looking at these clauses, okay? So a noun clause, typically, this structure is a question word like what, or which, or who, plus the subject, and then the verb. All right? Now, the area that really confuses students sometimes, where students make the mistake, is they often see these noun clauses and they think they're questions, or they try to use the noun clause and they accidentally make kind of a question form. So it's important to know the difference between a noun clause and a question. A noun clause is not a question in itself. So you do not flip the order of the subject and the verb like you would in a question, okay? So what I mean by that is if you look at this question order, where are you going? That's a typical structure for a question, right? You've got the question word, where, then you've got the helping verb, are, and then you, okay? In a noun clause, you don't do that flip. You just keep it like this and say where you are going. Now in itself, the way it is like right there, it's incomplete, right? Where you are going is not a complete clause, it's a dependent clause. But the main difference between a question and a noun clause is that difference in the order of the subject and verb, okay? So we're going to be practicing that a lot here today. All right? People are asking me what you want to know what I'm drinking. There's a noun clause there. Would you like me to tell you what I'm drinking? It's water, that's all. I know it's boring. I should spice it up every once in a while. Drink some juice or something, maybe next week. Okay, so noun clauses. Noun clauses can function as the object of a verb. That's a really common way to use that noun clause after a verb. And here are some really common verbs that are followed by noun clauses. Okay, like say, guess, see, know, tell, understand, show, explain, and remind. This is not a complete list. There are way more verbs that you can use. You could even sometimes use words like want or like, but these are some common verbs that we use with these noun clauses with question words. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Uh-oh, trouble in paradise, all right? Obviously, they're having some problems here. What's going on? So her question is, why did you say that? I don't know if she said it quite like that, but why do you say that is the question, all right? Now that's a fine question. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we want to change it slightly, change the structure a little bit, show our range, right, and use a noun clause, what she could say, if she was interested in showing this guy her range of English, she could say, I don't understand why you said that. Okay, so why did you say that, and I don't understand why you said that. It has a very similar meaning, but in this case, why you said that is a noun clause, and it's the object of the verb understand. So it's basically the same meaning, okay? Now, what you'll notice though, the difference is In the question, you're using that verb do, right? We use do a lot in questions. Why do you study English, for example, or why did you say that? But in the noun clause, you'll notice that I didn't use that helping verb do because it's not a question. What I had to do instead is put the verb said in the past tense, okay? So you have to make sure you're kind of changing that verb tense when you're taking a question and turning it into a noun clause. Or in this case, sometimes people might refer to this as an indirect question as well, okay? So what's he going to say to that? How's he going to answer? He's going to say, I don't know. So why did you say that? He doesn't know. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a good answer, but it's his only answer. But again, another way of saying that, he could add a noun clause and say, I don't know why I said that. And again, in this case, why I said that is complementing the verb know, or is serving as the object of the verb know, okay? So this is just one way that we can kind of, again, show variety and style to our use of language. And again, it's very common when we want to kind of emphasize a point in a fight or something like that. Another example is very common to ask people things, to find things, to ask for help. We use noun clauses all the time, okay? So where can I find books about art and film? There's nothing wrong with that sentence, but if you asked a stranger that, it might seem a little bit short, a little bit unfriendly, impolite, right? So sometimes we would put something at the beginning and say, do you know, or do you happen to know, could you tell me please, where I can find books about art and film? Okay, so in this case, again, the same meaning, but the second one I'm using a noun clause to kind of finish that sentence and make it a little bit more polite. And again, if you look at the order of the two examples in the question, I've flipped can I, and in the noun clause, I haven't. Okay, so a really common mistake is when students will say, do you know where can I find books about art and film? But you can't say that. You have to flip it back to the regular order of subject and then verb. Okay, and that's where students often get tripped up a little bit. But this is kind of where we're going to start, okay, with these questions using the noun clause as the object of the verb. All right. Before I get into this subject complement stuff, we're going to dive right into the work. Okay, so I want you guys to use kind of what I've talked about so far, and I'm going to ask Lane to please put the link in the chat for everybody to get to. Okay, and I'm going to open up my copy of this document here. I'm going to make it nice and big. So really, all I want you guys to do is practice this concept of taking a question and expanding on it using a noun clause, either with which or what, or actually not so much which, but what, when, why, how, who. Okay? So get on that document, or I'll just leave the screen like this for you guys to see. As usual, I'm going to pop off the screen. I'm going to put some happy music on there for you guys to listen to inspire you. Okay? And I'd like you to take these sentences and finish the second one using a noun clause. So let's do the first one together, okay, before I pop out. The question is, what is your favorite part about learning English? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a tough question. There's so many wonderful things about learning English. So you take that direct question and you turn it into, could you let me know what your favorite part about learning English is, and then question. All right, just like that. So really, this is kind of the easier part, kind of to ease you into it. It's really just playing with the structure and the order of the words. So what's your favorite part becomes, could you let me know what your favorite part is? All right, so I'm going to disappear for a couple minutes. If you guys have questions, put them in the chat, and we'll come back and we'll answer them, okay? I'm going to pop out for a couple minutes, and I'm going to put on the music. All right, get to work. right, everybody. I'm back. This is good. Lots of good stuff coming in the chat. Great. Let me put some of these answers up here. So I think a lot of people put in answers, and a lot of them are the same because you guys are getting them correct. So that's a good thing. So B is, what's the difference between a compliment and a compliment? Well, hopefully you know, if you were here last week, we did talk about the difference between a compliment and a compliment. So hopefully this sentence is not true about you, but this is, here, let me make that a little bit bigger so it's the same. There we go. Okay, so I don't understand what the difference between a compliment and a compliment is, all right? And that's coming in from Valerie and Selma and Luciana. I think you guys all had the same answer, okay? So I'm not sure exactly which one I copied and pasted, but you guys are you're all good. All right, what about the next one? What is acceptable behavior? That's a very good question, and I guess a very good answer too. Is I'm not sure. Oh, what behavior is acceptable? Okay, we're getting a couple maybe different answers in here. I'm not sure what behavior is acceptable. That works. I think others said, I'm not sure what acceptable behavior is. Okay, so it's up to you. Either one of those works. That's good. Good stuff, guys. Okay, let's see a couple more, and then we're going to get a little bit deeper with this whole noun clause thing. All right, so what are you implying is D. Coming in from, let me see here. What do we got? Please tell me. Okay, what you're implying. Here, I'm going to put this one up here just because it's not quite right. So sometimes I like putting a little mistake up there just to explain it. Okay, so let me make this nice and big. We'll go up here like that. Okay, so please tell me, what implying are you? With a question mark. All right. In this case, you still have to mess around with the word order a little bit. Okay, and I would say, please tell me what you are. Take that over here. What you are implying. Okay, please tell me what you are implying. In this case, put a period there. That's good. Okay, a couple more coming in, and I see more. Yeah, it's good. So for E, how much does it cost? I don't remember. And Kyle, this answer's coming in from you. And there it is. I don't remember how much it costs. Yeah, you guys are killing it. This is the easy part. Yeah? Good. Okay, what about F? All right, Bruno's back. Good to see you, Bruno. And for F, how many languages can he speak? He wants to know. And I'm going to take Bruno's answer and put it up here. He wants to know how many languages you can speak. Good stuff. And again, I'm just going to enlarge that so it's all the same size. Good. And just a few more here. Who was your teacher last month? Answers for G. Valerie says, could you tell me, she says, could you tell me who your teacher was last month? Yeah, really good. Thanks, Valerie. All right, and a couple more. And again, if anybody has questions about any of these answers that I'm putting up here, you can put them in the chat, okay? H, what does acquisition mean? Could you clarify? Let me see here. Diab. Or, yeah, Diab. Not sure if I'm saying your name right, but that's a good answer right here, okay? So that's, could you clarify what acquisition means? Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. And a couple more here, and then we're done with this section. Selma, for I, where would you like to go? I do not care where you'd like to go. Yeah, Not a very good answer, though. I mean, your answer, Selma, is fine, but not a very nice response to the question, where would you like to go? Yeah, pretty bizarre way to answer that question, but you got the grammar right. That's good. And the last one, Jay, what kind of computer do you have? What did the teacher ask me? And here, I'll put that there. The teacher asked me what kind of computer I have. That's good. And again, I'll just make that a little bit larger here. Excellent, guys. That's great. So again, this is using noun clauses to make these kind of indirect questions, right? And really, in all of these sentences, or close to all of them, the noun clause is the object of that verb. But that's not, oh yeah, did I pronounce it right? D, then yab. D-yab. Okay? Cool. Thanks, Corinne, for that. Great. So there are other forms of noun clauses, or there are other functions of noun clauses, and that's what I want to talk about now. Okay? So I'm going to go back in here into my presentation, and we're going to talk about how noun clauses can function as what we call a subject complement. Okay? Now, what do I mean by subject complement? I mean that the order of the sentence is like this. You have the subject, and then typically you have the verb be. It doesn't have to be be, but it's often the verb be, followed by the noun clause, so that the subject and the noun clause are basically the same thing. Much like I would say, I am a teacher, I and teacher are the same, or I am Shaun, right? I and Shaun are the same. Okay, so we use noun clauses in this way as well. Let's show some examples. All right, John thinks noun clauses rule. I agree. I couldn't agree more, John, that noun clauses do in fact rule. All right. Oh, this is nice. Okay, this is nicer than the fighting couple. This is what I've always wanted. I mean, not me per se. I mean, this is what she's saying, I assume. Okay, so this is what I've always wanted. What I've always wanted is a noun clause. You've got what, the question word, then the subject, and then the verb. Okay, and this kind of subject complement use of the noun clause is really good for a nice emphatic sentence, making a strong statement, right? Okay, so that's good for her. That's nice. What about this one? Home is where I want to be, right? Not right now. I'm enjoying myself with you guys. But in this case, where I want to be is the noun clause, is the subject complement. Home and where I want to be is the same thing, okay? And another one, yeah. So I tried to make muffins last night, guys, okay? These are my muffins. So my question for you is this what muffins should look like? I'm just curious, all right? Is this what muffins should look like? It's my first time. I'm just getting started here, yeah? Or maybe this is why I don't usually bake muffins, maybe. Right? Yeah. Some of that is an epic fail. That's right. This is what an epic fail means, absolutely. Okay, so if you'd like to try my muffins, just let me know and I'll mail you one. Okay, okay. So these are subject complements. Okay, forget about the muffins. Let's talk about subjects as well. So noun clauses can be subject complements, but sometimes they can be the subject of the sentence itself. Okay, so going back to these unfortunate people, I don't know, Chris and Sheila, okay, having a fight, not having a good time. So his comment upset her, obviously. Yeah, she's not happy. Okay, so you can take the subject of this sentence, his comment, and you can replace it with a noun clause. What he said upset her. Now in this case, what he said, you've got question word, subject, and verb, but together, those three words together function as the subject of that sentence, right? Because if you look at it, you really just got subject, verb, object, right? So his comment upset her. What he said upset her. Let's look at another example of the noun clause as the subject. Uh-oh. This one. Oh, question coming in. Uhtred. His comment upset her? I see. So your question is upset her or upsets her? That's a good question. Now it depends. Upset is actually an irregular verb, right? So the past of upset is upset. So my sentence here that I wrote for you guys, my meaning is the past tense, like it happened yesterday. Okay, if you put an S on it and said his comment upsets her, it's grammatically correct, but it sounds like he makes this comment every day or very regularly, which isn't very nice if that's true. But that's a really good question coming in from Uhtred, H, yeah? Okay. But in this case, yeah, this is a past tense verb. All right, thanks for your question. Now let's get back to this poor guy. How he kept his job is a mystery to me, right? So in this case, again, how, your question word, he kept his job. That whole thing, that whole clause is the subject of the entire sentence, okay? And these guys again, yeah, I know. Let's put this argument to rest here, okay? Sometimes, if you really want to make a strong point in an argument, if you really want to win the argument and make an emphatic statement, you can double down on your noun clauses, right? What she's saying here is, what I don't understand is why you said it, right? A very common thing that we would say in an argument is, I understand what you said, Chris. What I don't understand is why you said it, okay? So in this case, she is doubling up on the noun clauses to make it as emphatic as possible. So the noun clause is both the subject of the sentence and the complement here, okay? So what can he possibly say to this, right? Other than, maybe he has an answer up his sleeve, yeah, to something like this. He has short sleeves, but he might say, I don't know, honey. I am who I am. Again, in this case, I am who I am. Who I am is a noun clause. It's not a good answer in this situation, but it's all he has, unfortunately for him. Okay, so the point of this is these noun clauses have so many different functions. Yeah, they can be subjects, they can be objects, they can be complements. And this is, again, only the beginning of the different types of noun clauses and the different ways we use them. But for now, again, I want you guys to get to work for me, all right? John likes that answer, I am who I am. Yeah, well, you can try it, John. I can't guarantee how successful it will be in an argument, but try it out and let me know, all right? But don't blame me, all right? So how about, guys, why don't you go back into that exercise for me? Selma thinks he should have apologized. Yeah, I agree with that too. Definitely would have been easier for him, I think. He could have said, what I said was wrong, right? Good noun clause there. All right, so noun clauses are very useful for apologies as well. Okay, so looking at this document here, guys, you've got 5 different pictures. And again, we'll keep this pretty simple to try to get through it as much as we can. You've got an image, and then you've got this is, and then nothing. So I want you to try to use your imaginations, use your creativity, and use a noun clause. Use what, or how, or where, or why, or when, and complement the subject this. So this is, it looks like a nightclub, but you can't just say this is a nightclub, or this is a dance floor. That's not enough. I mean, it's true if you say this is a dance floor. That sentence is fine, okay? It's grammatically correct, but it's not practicing the noun clause, okay? What I'd like you guys to do instead is give me a sentence with a what or a why or something in there to complement that subject. So this is where Shaun busts a move from time to time. All right? You can say whatever you want. This is where Shaun busts a move from time to time. Maybe Karim, my slang translator in the chat, can translate bust a move. And we'll also show how old I am. Okay, so that's one possible answer. I'm taking that away because I want you guys to give me your answers. Okay, so again, I'm going to pop off. Happy dancing monkey music is coming back on, and I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Try to finish those sentences with a noun clause, what or which or why, and then we'll go over them. And then I've got even more information for you. Okay, so I'm popping out. Good luck, get to work. All right, everybody. Good stuff. Lots of good answers coming in. Let's go over some of them together. Now, I don't know if we got any for number one. I mean, I did number one for you. I think somebody put in like this is where I dance all night. That was one of the answers. This is where I dance all night. Great, good for you. As long as it's not a school night, I hope. Number two, the apple. This is. Okay, so there's a lot of good sentences coming in that some of them are good that aren't actually noun clauses. Like, this is a really tasty looking apple. It's true. Yeah, that is a really tasty looking apple. How about, okay, this one. All right, this one's coming in from Bruno. This is, okay, now I'm gonna make that, enlarge that. So this is what the doctor told me to eat. That's good. Yeah, good for you, doctor. Good advice, Bruno. Yeah, okay. One more. I think this one's coming in from Selma. Copy that, put that here. And this is what my grandmother likes to eat every day. Well, that's good. Healthy. Good for her. Right. And also, I mean, I should also point out that with noun clauses like this, you can also negate them. You can make them negative, right? And say, this is not what I want to eat right now, right? This is healthy, but it is not what I want, right? I want some popcorn or whatever it is. This is good. Okay. What about questions number 3? This is the country I lived. All right, maybe this is this coming in from Luciana here? This is where my cousin lives. I think you put that for number 3. A couple of them don't have numbers, but I think, yeah, that's right. This is where my cousin lives. I think so, unless, well, yeah, I don't think it's for number 4, living in a tree. That's good. Okay. Another one, this is where Americans live. That's also true. Okay. That's really good. And how about number 4? Okay. Is this one coming in from this one? Is this one Paul's maybe? Let me take the this is away. This is what it looks like in spring. And that's good. All right, this is what it looks like in spring. Beautiful. I hope that's true wherever you are. Oh, another one. This is where I first met your mother for number 4. Yeah, that's great. Under the tree. That's romantic. Yeah. Where I met your mother. And how about number 5? This is, okay, now, let me see. It's kind of, I'm not sure whose this is, but let me put this on. Maybe, John, this might be yours here. This is my computer I watch Smart English on. Now that's a good sentence, but we don't quite have that noun clause yet. Okay, so let's fix this one up a little bit, just so we're sure that there's a noun clause in it. So this is my computer I watch Smart English on. So how about this is how. Okay, this is how I watch Smart English, or this is what I use to communicate with Shaun, or something like that, right? Using how or what or something, some kind of question word. All right. Good stuff, guys. Yeah. Okay, so one more kind of thing about noun clauses that I want to go over today. Okay, and again, if you have questions about this exercise, put them in the chat, and I'll try to answer them before we're out of time. Okay, so going back into my presentation, we've been talking a lot about question words, what and how and when and why, but we also use that clauses for noun clauses, which really just means the same concept of question words or question clauses, but you use the pronoun that at the beginning. Now, you guys are very familiar, I'm sure, with using that clauses for reported speech. When you're telling me what someone else said, right? He said that he would be late. Okay, that is a noun clause, and that's exactly what we're talking about here today is these noun clauses. But that's not what I want to focus on today, because reported speech really could be its own lesson. I just thought I would point out that clauses can be used as what we call an adjective complement. So you can add a noun clause that starts with that after a bunch of very useful adjectives to complement it, to emphasize it, to give more information. So words like essential or true or possible, and all of these other ones, awful, important, interesting. Behind me, you've got inevitable, which is a great word. If you know what that means, put it in the chat. You might be able to help somebody out. Inevitable, okay? So we can follow these words with that clauses, like so. So your doctor might say, it is important that you take better care of yourself. So that you take better care of yourself is a noun clause. It's a content clause, and it's complementing the adjective important, okay? Or, this guy again. It is amazing that he was able to keep his job. All right, so again, good luck for him. He's lucky. It was lucky that he was able to keep his job. It's amazing that he was able to keep his job. Again, the adjective or the participle, which we talked about last week or the week before, is being complemented by this noun clause, okay? And one more. These guys again, but this is the end for them. It's unfortunate that they could not work through their problems. That's kind of a sad way to end things, I guess, but they'll be okay. All right, so again, in this case, the word unfortunate, the adjective unfortunate, is oftentimes followed by this that clause to complement it, okay? And yeah, we've got some definitions of inevitable, right? So inevitable is something that is going to happen. You cannot stop it. So maybe it was inevitable that these guys broke up, right? Because Chris was unwilling to apologize, and he is who he is. It was inevitable that they would go their separate ways, all right? So how about this? The last thing I'm going to get you guys to do today is, here. Whoa, where'd that go? Oh, no. Hang on, guys. Somebody. All right, so how about this? I'm going to put it up here on the screen. One of my slides magically disappeared. I wonder what happened. That's a noun clause, all right? I'm curious how my slide disappeared. That's also a noun clause. But this is what I'm going to get you guys to do before you go. Finish these sentences for me, okay? What was my other one? It is interesting, it is true, it is, we can put unfortunate. I want you guys to finish these sentences. And it is, how about, we got unfortunate. How about just start with this, okay? I want to see what you guys can do with these adjective complements, okay? You've got it is interesting, it is true, and it is unfortunate. And I would like you guys, whoa, how about this? It is essential. Finish these 4 sentences with a that clause, all right? And then we'll go over it, and then that will probably be just about all the time we have for today. But give me something amazing. Amaze me with your noun clauses, okay? Starting with that. And I'm going to pop off for 2 more minutes, okay? And then we'll probably still have time for the mistake of the week, but we'll see how we do, okay? Get me some sentences in the chat, and then we'll go over it together. All right, I'm popping out. All right, lots of wonderful stuff coming in on the chat. Let's put some of these answers up here. Okay, so number one, it is interesting. What's interesting? Well, okay, this is a good one from Miguel. Okay, Miguel, I'm going to put yours up here. Oh, let's make that bigger. Let's make it all 24. Okay, so it is interesting that the universe is expanding. That is interesting. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Anything else for interesting? It is interesting that I learn in Smrt class. Yeah, that's okay. That's a good one, true. All right, that's coming in from Bruno. Hey, I'm gonna put this one up here because it's a compliment to me. So, I'm always a fan of that. Oh. And this is coming in from CF Teaching. All right. So it is interesting that someone can react as good as you when there's a problem. Well, well, maybe you're not. Maybe this is hypothetical. Maybe it's not me. But if it is me, thank you. Yeah, it's practice. Yeah. Okay. What about number two? It is true. What do we have here? Let me see number two. Where's number two? It is true. It is true. Somebody said something about Mark. Where did that go? Somebody said, it is true that Mark has a newborn. I saw that in there. I'm not sure who said it, but it is true that Mark has a newborn. That is true. Very much so. All right. Oh, yeah, there it is. That's from John, of course. Good. Oh, another one from Bruno. It is true that he told us what we have to do. That's good. Okay. Let me see another one for how about number three? Because we've got very little time left, unfortunately. Okay, here's one coming in from Luciana. Again, I like to put the ones up. I like to put the ones up there that. Just a second. Let's do this again. And there. Okay, so Luciana says, it is unfortunate that I can't watch these classes every Wednesday. That is unfortunate, Luciana, but you can always rewatch the videos later. That's the good news, yeah? Okay, and it is essential. Let me get an answer in here from somebody. Wow, okay. Selma, I'll put yours in here. So, larger. It is essential that a human being drinks at least 1.5 liters of water per day. All right, good advice. I think that sounds pretty essential to me. I think somebody else in there said it's essential. Who said that? It's essential to practice your English grammar. Yeah, I think that might have been Paul. That's a good answer too. You know what? It's actually unfortunate that all of our time is done for the day. The hour is up. Time passes so quick when you're learning about noun clauses. It is unfortunate that our time is up, but it is true that our time is up. But it is also true that we'll be back again next week, all right, to talk about more interesting things. So I agree with Paul that it's essential to continue practicing your English grammar and to continue practicing all of your skills in English, and I hope you do that. We didn't get a chance to get to the mistake of the week, but we'll get to that next week. It's okay. There are plenty of mistakes left in the English language that we can get to. Let me pop out to the big screen here. All right. So sadly, it's time to say goodbye. But what I would like to say is thank you for watching. All right. Thank you for listening to me talk about noun clauses, and I hope I helped you out. And I'll stick around in the chat for a couple more minutes. All right. If you guys have any more questions about noun clauses or anything else, I'll answer them in the chat for a minute or two before I split. But thanks for watching. Make sure to keep watching Mark's class as well. That's on earlier on Wednesdays. And check out the Facebook page, Learn English on Facebook. Like us. Check out our Smrt English YouTube channel with the rest of our videos. And tell your friends and keep coming back. And I look forward to seeing you here next week, guys. Okay. So, in the meantime, keep practicing, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll see you here next time. Okay. I'm going to say bye-bye for now.